What's up, guys? Max here, back with another episode of the ScuttleButt Show. I hope you're all doing well. Hold on one second. I gotta turn on my blue light back here and make the ambiance right. There we go. There we go. How's everybody doing in the chat? What's up, Nuggets, Rambo, Lucas, Andrew Walsh back after a while, Justin in the chat, Philip, Ed. I just saw your Instagram post. Looks like a tasty treat. I hope you're planning on working that off later. Yeah, is that everybody? Did I miss anybody? Everybody's watching. Just want to say welcome to the show and happy birthday to the Army. It's the Army's birthday, June 14th, and I've got couple special stories for you guys. But it doesn't mean we can go easy on the Army today. We do have some stories on the Army that we got to talk about that are just, I don't want to say good or bad, but typical. We'll just say typical. And then we've got, at the end of today's episode, I'm going to change clothes and record my Battlefield 2042 gameplay reaction by popular demand live in front of you guys. So if you're here for the live show, you'll get to see how that goes down. Right here on the show, we're going to green screen it. We're going to have the video up. We're going to do it all. I'm going to show you guys behind the scenes. Tilted Twister, what's up? Welcome to the chat. So, by the way, just as a reminder, you guys can check out the join button right below this video, become a member of the channel. You can check out Patreon and get your merch at ScuttleButtShow.com. So today is the U.S. Army's birthday. It is. It's true. And let's talk about that. So getting right into today's show, right into today's stories, we've got the U.S. Army's birthday. And it's June 14th, 1775 is when the Army was founded. And I always got to hit up the military's birthdays. I mean, it's going to be funny when we start doing the Space Force birthday. Space Force's third birthday. Imagine it's 1775. The rumors are going around, the scuttlebutt is that there's going to be a revolution against the British. And you've got the Second Continental Congress going on, and the militias, the militaries that have kind of been pseudo-formed go there and they say, we need an official military. And on June 14, 1775, the Second Continental Congress establishes the U.S. Army. And what I want to do is, besides saying happy birthday to the soldiers and future soldiers out there in the chat, is I want to read what was the oath of enlistment back then, which is so crazy. Imagine you're taking the oath of enlistment in an army that just started. It goes a little something like this. The Congress even wrote an early oath of enlistment for the new recruits, and it goes like this. I have, this day, voluntarily enlisted myself as a soldier in the American Continental Army for 1 year, unless sooner discharged, and I do bind myself to conform in all instances to such rules and regulations as are or shall be established for the government of the said Army. So that's the first oath of enlistment that the soldiers took back in 1775. Could you imagine? The military's not even formed yet, and they're asking you to sign up and swear allegiance to the rules and regulations that aren't even formed yet. And then you find out you got to get a haircut. I mean, you got to shave. You got to do all this stuff. Like, when did they? That's what I wonder is, when did they come up with that? Do you think the first lieutenant, not a first lieutenant, the first lieutenant, was like, you know what we need? Everyone should shave. What do you guys think? Wait, am I in charge? Let's shave. We're shaving. Let's shave. We're shaving. Do it. Go, get out of here. Go home, shave, come back when you're shaved. How are we supposed to take on the British with those beards? I do wonder what the original standards were, the original regulations. What do you think they said? It was probably like, don't retreat, don't go to the other side, don't be a traitor, stuff like that. It is kind of crazy to think that back then they were coming up with the first regulations and somebody had to decide responsibly, I hope, on what those were going to be. I mean, we are here today, and the Army is something today. The Army is something today. Andrew says they didn't have to shave. Come on. It is. I do wonder what the original regulations were that they had to go by. I mean, they would have to start making do with some uniforms, some rank structure. I don't know what the original Army rank structure was. Do you guys know? Like, we know that the Chiefs were born April 1st, 1893 in the Navy. When was the sergeant born? Remember, the militia National Guard had been around for 140 years prior. Yes, but then they made the official Army, and I wonder what the original enlisted ranks were. Did you enlist as a private back then? Did you enlist as a soldier? I don't know. Von Steuben and his blue book. Yes. Everyone's signing. Make your mark. Right? Everyone in a ledger, everyone's signing up. Let's see. George Washington, great man that era. Space Dog, what's up? Welcome to the chat. By the stars, early light. Nuggets is typing the national anthem into the chat. Love it. Speaking of the Army's birthday, where's Jacob at? Is Jacob in the chat? I got to say, yesterday, Jacob, Jakob, who's always in the chat, sent me a picture of his great-grandfather who served in World War I, and I thought I would save it for, I mean, I didn't mean to do this, to be totally honest, but when I found out it was the Army's birthday, I thought it would be perfect to kind of show this today. So, Jacob, if you're out there, if you're not out there, that's lame. You missed it. So here we go. The guy you're seeing on this photo with the arrow is apparently Jacob's great-grandfather in World War I. And look at those shades. If you're listening on this on the podcast, he's got like the original pair of aviators on back then, rocking what was that, the Grand Rifle, and sitting next to a wagon wheel over in World War I, aiming down. I feel like he's posing for the picture. I feel like the other two guys are chilling, and he's kind of posing for the picture. But he sent me this, and I appreciate that. I thought it would be cool to share on the Army's birthday. If you guys have any old family photos from the back in the day and you are a regular viewer of the show, I'm happy to share those. And, you know, I like to get to know you guys, small community here on YouTube that we come hang out every day. So I think that's kind of cool. So it was interesting. It's unique. I thought that there would even be a picture of somebody from then. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who served in World War I who don't have any pictures of themselves that they have shared with their family. So there's no legacy of that at all. You know, it just seems like cameras were not that around. Cameras were not that accessible. So like the stream, the Springfield M1903. Yeah, I'm not good at identifying old weapons. My weapon history is not very strong. Awesome. I got some from Pancho Villa's day. Pancho Villa's day. Nice. That's something I'm not very familiar with, but I know you're repping from Mexico, right? So I would love to learn about that a little bit and see some of those photos. Yes, like the stream, join the channel, check out the links in the description. You guys know the deal. Speaking of the Army, now that we've gotten that out of the way, woohoo, Army's birthday. We did it. We talked about it. Now we're going to shred them up a little bit. Andrew, where you at? The Army has a couple interesting stories out today as of this week, and they are wacky. They are funny. Not ha-ha funny, but kind of like funny in the, I feel like the Army always misses the mark with their messaging. They just don't have great messaging. That's what I think. And that couldn't be more clearer than the headline of this story. Army considers increasing public affairs staff training in aftermath of the Vanessa Guillen case. So you guys remember Vanessa Guillen, victim of murder on Fort Hood, and her body was not found for months. The assailant, the suspect, was not tracked down for months. And then when he finally was, he killed himself, and very few people were held accountable for her death. And after all that bad PR, what does the Army do to try to make sure this never happens again? Well, nothing. What they've done, in fact, now is they say they need better public affairs officers so that it doesn't look so bad for the Army next time that this happens. This article is pretty long, and I've read it, and I'm going to sum it up for you guys. Basically, when Vanessa Guillen was missing, Facebook, social media went crazy with all these stories, all these versions of events that happened, many of them not true. As it turns out, the person who killed, she did report fear of sexual harassment or stalking or, sexual misconduct while she was in, but it was not by the guy who ended up killing her. That was a guy who worked at the armory who, I don't know what their relationship was before that, but he bludgeoned her and then killed her and then hid her body. And she was missing for months. So people were saying that the Army is not doing anything about it. The Army's ignoring it. The Army says what they had was just an AWOL soldier, that they had conducted a lot of searches of the base, including underground caves and tunnels that existed on that base from way back in the day, only to find nothing on base, and the Army's ability to investigate crimes off base is limited. So what this article is saying is that they need to get more public affairs officers to manage the bad press when things like this happen, and that's kind of insane because what they should be focused on is making sure that things like this don't happen. I mean, when is the Army going to take it on the face? You know what I mean? Take it to the chin that you just have to go, yeah, we messed that up, and we're going to work to make sure that never happens again. Not our public affairs dropped the ball. This is a one-off incident. It's not endemic of a bigger problem. It's not a systemic problem. It's kind of crazy. What's the chat saying right now? We can't officially think it wasn't issued in basic. Did someone say blind spots? Justin says, yes. Just finished fixing my 1970 Dodge Charger. Diana, what's up? And thank you for letting me know, and welcome to the chat. Larry D, funny how I amuse you, I make you laugh. What am I, funny guy? Damn, I can't imagine what her family feels after hearing her death. It's horrible. Hiram says, if you go on my Facebook page of Ben Piscopo, you'll see a post on my timeline of the Bank Vol Salat project involving an unconventional harness to hold a modified compressor that operates a drive-in impact tools. Are you promoting something you invented? What is that? Tell me more. I don't know what that means. I'm curious what the... I mean, good for you for working on something. Is that a comment to Diana, who's working on her car? Any way to make work easier is good. So if they can't retreat, can they admit mistakes? Yes. Army has to admit its fault. I mean, we all do, but the Army has a lot to admit with its faults. True. So the Army hiring more public affairs officers and increasing public affairs training does certainly not seem like the way to recover from this incident, which I don't know if there is a way to recover from that incident. It's pretty bad. But the Army, with its track record of insane lack of punishment, lack of investigation into sexual misconduct cases, including this next one that we're about to talk about, it's too much. It's undeniable. It's just too much, honestly, frankly, too much. And I hope that they eventually will just make some, maybe leadership will go, it's my fault, do the whole step down thing, which I don't always agree with, but sometimes you just have to make that move and let somebody else take the reins to instill public confidence, like what ultimately happened in the Marine Corps with that sunken AAV, where those 8 Marines and a sailor were killed in that AAV. And the commanding officer stepped down. It's accepted that the lack of procedures being followed in his command was his fault, which is a great way to handle it, and stepped down. So I don't know. We'll see. Andrew, what do you think? Does the Army do a good job taking responsibility for things that happen within the chain of command at a leadership level, or do they try to push the blame at lower levels and defer, kind of like Chief Master Sergeant Bass in the Air Force over there does? Not my fault. Not my fault. It's actually your guys' fault, if you think about it. So I didn't actually do anything wrong. You guys shouldn't have ever said anything on my comments. Yeah, have a good day. Diamond One, what's up? What do you like about the Army, Max? What do I like about the Army? Well, there are a lot of good soldiers out there who do a great job, and the core values of a soldier are really impressive for people who follow them. So there's a lot of good things about the Army. I know a lot of good soldiers, but then the Army seems to have a lot of leadership problems. I worked with the Army for 1.5 years overseas, staying there, living with them, reporting to them, and I had a lot of great experiences, negative experiences too, but a lot of great experiences. They found another body before they found her, and don't forget Private Morales. Was Private Morales the one who hung himself in the woods? Took a year for my former commander to be relieved. Damn. I know that there's been a lot of incidents on Fort Hood, which is kind of crazy. But in a follow-up to a story we had a couple weeks ago, Fort Carson Sergeant Major sentenced for inappropriate relationship and indecent language, and only that. So why do I say and only that? Because if you guys remember Sergeant Major Perez here, he was the command sergeant major at Fort Carson, Colorado, and he was sentenced last week after pleading guilty to an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate and sending indecent texts. For that, he received 179 days confinement, reduction in rank to sergeant first class, and a written reprimand, which means he will probably retire with full benefits after serving his time. I don't see anything in here about him losing his retirement. And we have to remember, okay, just to remind you guys about this story, he was charged with sexual misconduct with females under the age of 16 on multiple occasions over the course of years, and they dropped those charges as part of his plea deal. They dropped those charges. So now, all he gets is just under 6 months in jail and a reduction in rank to E7 and a written reprimand, which means he'll have to retire probably. Like, he won't be able to retain and advance any other higher ranks for sure. What the hell? One woman, a soldier previously under his command, testified that Perez made her feel obligated because of his rank to visit her office for closed-door meetings, the Gazette reports. Perez became unduly familiar with the junior soldier who was a private first class, and then this is what he got busted for, was for the inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. He was in the Army for 31 years, Desert Storm veteran, and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan. So why do we keep having these high-ranking Army people get busted for sex crimes with minors and then basically effectively getting away with it? Again, we had the general last week. We had the sergeant major this week. This we've had so many other stories too about them not investigating this stuff. The guy who was sleeping with his daughter at multiple commands over the course of like 20 years. And then it was reported, but then they just kind of swept it under the rug. We had that story a couple months ago. I don't remember what his name was. So crazy. So crazy. So this is just another example of that. I don't know. Nugget says, send him to jail. Well, he is going to jail for 6 months, but is that enough? My bad for my joke was trying to be funny. I didn't even see the joke. Let's see. Not sure what rank were you. What rank was I? I was in E6 when I got out, but I was promoted to E7. I just didn't get to pay grade E7. Basically, it looks like a combination of the M61 Vulcan and M134 Dylan. Let's see. Vulcan? Isn't that Star Trek? Dylan is an Irish name. Elder Hernandez. That's right. Let's see. Off topic crap. On a serious note, everything you're describing is very reason why the military itself opposes a draft. The Army does not want a trial where people are deposed under oath. That is bad PR. And obviously they are worried about bad PR. That's a good point, Larry. What's up, Larry? So a trial is obviously where everything's going to come out. If I was the prosecutor, though, I would not accept a plea deal. I would push for the trial, even at the risk that you would lose the trial, just to get the facts out with some of the stuff that's so bad, you know? Marines can't stay out of trouble either, though. Marines can't stay out of trouble. We've been following this story for a while now. Let me just jump over here. We're going to cruise through some of these stories because we're going to have a discussion here in a minute. Let's see. UCMJ is lenient with age. I think it says 16 or local area. Whoa, Justin, I got to check that. That's crazy. That seems antiquated. Marine receives 4-year suspended sentence for sexual assault on Okinawa, Japan. We've been following this story. A Marine was found guilty of sexually assaulting a woman in Naha parking lot, right? We've been covering that. He went out. It was 5 in the morning. He came across some woman, grabs her, starts kissing her. He, what's the word? Sodomized her, I think is the official term there. You can read the article. It's on your screen right now. PFC Marvin Earl James, who's 24 years old. He's a transmission systems operator with 3rd MAR Div, and he pled guilty. And when he faced the punishment, here's what he got. We said he was probably looking at getting a prison term, but he, in fact, avoided that completely. So he was sentenced to a 4-year suspended sentence, 2 years and 6 months in a... Let's see. Naha District Court Judge Koji Iwashi sentenced James to 2 years and 6 months in a Japanese prison with hard labor, but suspended the sentence to 4 years. James will likely serve no additional jail time unless he commits another crime in Japan. So what he did was he pled guilty. He expressed deep regret and remorse, and he said he was going to admit to everything that he was accused of. They gave him 2 years in prison, but then they suspended that sentence to 4 years, and as long as he stays out of trouble, he will be avoiding any further jail time. But what I suspect is he will be avoiding any further time in Okinawa by getting sent back to the United States after dealing with his UCMJ punishment, which is likely going to come down from his chain of command. Let's see. Probably wasn't enough evidence, but also Ohio is the age of consent of 16. Wow. This might have happened in Ohio, actually. It's simple because senior military personnel hate the idea of a draft because it will reduce the quality of people coming in. What's up, Chris? How's it going? Larry, did you join as a member at some point? And now, are you not? I'm trying to remember. I just felt like I seen your name highlighted in green before. Jacob, what's up? You missed it. We showed your grandfather, your great grandfather. We showed the pic right at the beginning of the show to celebrate the Army's birthday, and you weren't here, man. You weren't here. So all that, we had those stories of those Marines getting in trouble out here in Okinawa. It's pretty common, actually. We had the story of a Marine getting killed in the ocean in Okinawa. Anything out of Okinawa, I'm always going to cover because that's my neighborhood. That's where I live. And I feel really bad for the victim in this case, who was grabbed and probably very frightened and maybe permanently traumatized and might now be walking around with a fear of Americans on Okinawa, which it only takes one of those cases every several years, and we're back in the same loop of Americans are horrible and get them off Okinawa. The protesters outside of Kanina Air Force Base and all this stuff, it becomes this whole thing. And it's because of these liberty incidences that we keep having these problems. So let's see. Since Jacob's in the chat, let me go ahead and pop this picture back up here. There it is for Jacob to see it. It's on screen right now. Thank you for sending it to me. Got drip, as the kids say. Did my membership get canceled? No, you're on Patreon, Hiram. Ben, you're on Patreon, so you're good. You're good. It was Larry I was wondering about. I thought Larry had joined as a member, but maybe not. Maybe I'm confused. So there's Jacob's great-grandfather again in WW1. Do you know where this picture was taken, though? Do you know where? Was it, I mean, what country, I guess? I'm wondering if you know. So the Army is something I'm saying a lot today. Only worked 10 today. Just throwing out some likes before my gaming mission. Gamer with Guns, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Gamer is a member. He's got the icon next to his name. Edward, our military will never leave Okinawa. Probably true. Probably true. But who knows? We are making moves to get out of the way. I will tell you that. The United States is moving out of the way of Okinawa. They're closing down some of the bigger bases in the major cities and moving kind of to the outskirts. That is happening. So will we ever leave Okinawa? Maybe never is too hard to say, but no idea, Jacob says. That's fine. So maybe never is too hard to say, but not anytime soon, I'll tell you that. We've got something happened in the Army. Investigators suspect drug use after 2 82nd Airborne paratroopers found dead. That's a bummer. I mean, all you got to do, if you walk in a room and there's a bunch of needles and meth on the ground, then you'd probably suspect that as the cause of death. But it says here, 2 paratroopers were found dead in their barracks room at Fort Bragg, North Carolina on Friday. Investigators say to believe the drug use was involved. This was Specialist Joshua Diamond, who was 35, and PFC Matthew Disney, who was 20. So that's weird. That's a 15-year age gap to be hanging out. 15-year age gap. One of the specialists is 35, which is kind of old to be an E4. Both served with the 82nd Airborne Division. U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command, ACIC, is investigating a death. At this point in the investigation, we do have credible information that the soldiers were involved with illicit drugs. Both soldiers served as field artillery, firefinder, radar operators, and were assigned to 2nd Battalion, 319th. Both Diamond and Disney enlisted into the Army in 2019 and were stationed at Fort Bragg in 2020. So they both enlisted at the same time. Disney's Diamond deployed to Iraq in 2020. He got the Combat Action Badge, the CAB, the Army Commendation Medal, Combat Device, and the Army Parachutist Badge. And Disney had an Army Achievement Medal and Army Parachutist Badge. So it is probably not hard to figure out if they were on drugs. I mean, an autopsy, evidence in the room, if this happened at the barracks, it's probably pretty easy. Then people usually know who's on drugs in the military. They're like, oh yeah, that dude was doing, cocaine every night in the barracks. Let's see. Oh no, give us a Emma status report. I bet when we get more and better drones, we will leave other countries. If it wasn't for our military in Okinawa, their economy will be ruined. I do think that that's partially true. Larry D, WTF. Really old for an E4, 82nd 2 and drugs. Well, drug use in the Army is kind of a problem because the Army doesn't have a zero tolerance policy. Like the Navy and Marine Corps have a zero tolerance policy on drugs. Army, they have about this much tolerance. You can get caught for drugs in the Army and stay in the Army. Let's see. So, the hell was that? Some weird noises in my room. So, maybe Goku's moving around. So, we had to cover this one because it's a sad deal. But I do wonder when they say they had credible information, what they mean. What were they found? Like drug paraphernalia in the room? Was it like heroin, opiates, uppers, downers, screamers, laughers? Who knows? But something happened here. If I get any more updates about that, I will be sure to share them with you guys as they come around, because that story is kind of crazy. And then if 2 people are doing drugs, then a lot more people around them are probably doing drugs too. And hopefully they didn't get some stuff laced with some other stuff. Army's got to get zero tolerance. Well, then they are trying to reduce their force. They are trying to reduce the size of their force, so maybe. What I learned that Cobra Kai and military gave those Okinawans jobs. It's true. It's true. The United States military is a huge part of the Japanese economy in Okinawa and in Japan too. 20 soldiers got busted trying to buy meth while I was in Germany, first cav. Yeah. Oh yeah. Overseas, on trips, people feel like they can get away with anything. They'll start going out and doing crazy stuff. People take leave and start going doing crazy stuff. It happens all the time. I managed to avoid drugs the entire time I was in the military, which was really good. That should not be allowed. Should be checked at all times, in my opinion. Well, they do have random urinalysis all the time. In my day, dude just smoked weed on the weekends. One time it's 45-45, 50% club, and the second time you got the boot. Yep, the Navy used to be just smoke weed in the military back in the Vietnam era. Then they had tolerance. Then they had zero tolerance. And I don't actually have any problem with, I think they should legalize weed for the military. Especially as the United States pushes further and further towards the legalization of marijuana, I completely support the legalization of weed in the United States. 100%. I don't see why you wouldn't. To be completely honest with you guys, I don't see why you wouldn't. So that's my 2 cents on that. But you tell me what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear it. We're going to have a debate in a second here. But we got one more story that I got to cover before we do so. One more story I'm going to cover before we get into this debate. Combat controller who earned Air Force Cross in Afghanistan awarded Airman's Medal for heroism back home. As we've said before, combat controllers in the Air Force are some of the most professional and talented and dangerous special forces that the military has. These guys call in the hammer of God from the sky, rain down hellfire, talking to 10, 20 aircraft in a stack, bombs, hellfires, missiles, UAV strikes, you name it. These guys are the guys doing it. They are the most professional JTACs that the military has, and they go do incredible acts of heroism on the battlefield all the time. But for Master Sergeant Daniel Keller, bravery isn't confined to the battlefield, as the article says here from military.com. He earned the Air Force Cross while he was in the military, while he was in the Air Force. Then he earns the highest Air Force award for non-combat bravery for rescuing a motorist from a burning SUV in Kentucky a little over a year after earning the service's second highest award. He was driving home from work on November 16, 2018, when he came up on the aftermath of a crash on a narrow bridge outside Louisville and jumped out of his truck to help. After assisting a man and his son from one vehicle, he enlisted bystanders to stop traffic so he could rescue the unconscious driver of the SUV. With complete disregard for his own safety, he broke the rear window and entered the burning vehicle. This vehicle's on fire. He jumps in, pulls out the injured people inside. He received the Air Force Cross about a year after the crash, despite suffering a traumatic brain injury from a nearby blast. He directed critical airstrikes that killed dozens of enemy fighters and risked his life to help evacuate wounded troops. So, while inside this burning vehicle, the smoke forced him to hold his breath. When he reached the driver, he found a man's foot was trapped. This is like out of your worst nightmare car accident. And he couldn't be pulled away from the burning engine compartment. I couldn't get him that way, and the smoke was really filling up the car, so I knew we had to try to get him out through the other side or another way. With the help of an unnamed woman, he squeezed between the burning SUV and the bridge railing to pull the driver out a side window and move him away from the burning wreck. We had to go back to help the woman who had gotten trapped alongside the burning vehicle, and they began to perform CPR, and that's when Keller heard the familiar sound of gunfire. So now there's gunfire? What's this? It was realizing the ammunition inside the burning SUV was cooking off. He moved everyone away from that to a safe area and provided medical care until help arrived, crediting the first aid training he had received in the Air Force as how he knew what to do. I'm sure he humbly says he's no medical expert, but as a CCT, he would be highly qualified on first aid and combat lifesaver and all that stuff. A lot of folks, when they're confronted with a rapid change to their environment like that, have a tendency to want to get away from it, Lamberton said. But Dan's character and training is what enabled him to not only recognize what the situation is, but take the appropriate action to address it. So bravo, Zulu, to this hero on and off the battlefield who, when you come home and you find yourself in that situation, you come across a car wreck, you jump in and handle business. So that's a pretty great story. I'm glad we could do that about Master Sergeant Daniel Keller. So hope you guys enjoyed that story. I'm with Max. Cannabis for the troops. Drug test, #1 reason why also against marijuana legalized. Why can't people keep it simple? Mary Jane ain't so bad. Totally. Here's my thoughts on legalizing weed. It's okay, but should be mitigated a crap ton because you're still sucking up smoke and has the potential to cause an allergic reaction that you didn't even know you could. That's anything, no nuggets. Have heritage problems with allergies to pot. This mad lad, he's going at it. Chad. This mad lad, he's going at it, Chad. Nice. That's a great poem. I think dropping LSD should be PQS before dropping bombs. Nice. How did this man not have a PTSD flashback? Like, no joke, he kept his cool in these conditions. Super legit. He is super legit. I got to give him the super legit. He earned it. He earned the super legit icon. Our enemy is benefiting from our drug use. I don't have a problem with weed being legalized, but I will say I don't like it either. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think weed should be legalized. I think all drugs should not be legalized because I don't even know what all drugs are. I mean, how do you legalize all drugs? What about all these synthetic drugs? That's the real danger, right? And look what's happened in places where they have legalized drugs. It's just not exactly going great, you know? Now, whenever people come out with these policies of decriminalizing things and, you know, now there's all these additional homeless people in Los Angeles and all across the West Coast, homeless camps in California. I saw it in San Diego with my own eyes. Daniel Encina, welcome to the channel as a new subscriber. Let's see. My neighbor's car caught on fire while they tried to jump it. Damn. I love Harold and Kumar. What a depressing bummer. Sometimes someone can go do great things and then later on do something horrible. What's that? What are you referring to? So, drugs should never be legalized. I think weed should be legalized. I think all drugs should not be legalized. Oh, so what I was saying was they have all these new policies and there's all these homeless camps. I think that we have to look at, like, what are we doing to make the world a better place in 100 years, right? In 500 years. Like, how are we going to right, the wrongs of the world in that amount of time? 50 years, 20 years, not overnight, not tomorrow. What steps are we taking to make the world a better place long term? Because we got to think way past our generation. Like, you got to think 5 generations from now, 10 generations from now, how people used to think, people used to make plans for the world, used to think 5, 10 generations ahead. So what are we doing now that's going to make the world a better, safer place 100 years from now? Because I think we see a lot of immediate results that might not look good, but are those things that are going to make the world a better place in decades? And I don't know the answer, but that's how we should be approaching these problems. I don't think that just because we do something and it gets worse tomorrow means it's necessarily the wrong decision. Triggering my PTS. I was a huge drug user, so I really hate this. I feel you. It's people shouldn't drink or smoke. But if we're going to still have alcohol and tobacco, I don't see what a great argument is for... Oh, Justin just echoed what I said. Yeah, Edward banned alcohol and caffeine. Terrible drugs on our economy and an individual. The fact that we have alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, and we don't have weed doesn't make a lot of sense. The fact that we talk about free healthcare and we don't talk about sugar doesn't jive with me. The fact that we talk about free healthcare and don't talk about fast food and why is it more expensive to eat a salad than a double McCheeseburger, whatever it's called, Big Mac, it doesn't jive. These things do not go together in my brain. I shut down on the whole argument. When people when people say healthcare is a right, we shouldn't even need it though. Because 80%, I don't know, I was just going to say like 80%, but I don't actually know. I've heard statistics on, I would have to check with my wife, how many chronic illnesses, how many people suffering from chronic illness in the United States are because of diet and exercise and substance. It's the overwhelming majority, and cancer. Healthcare is not the conversation. Lifestyle is the conversation. Better choices are the conversation. Healthcare is the consequence of lifestyle. So if we're not having a conversation about one, we shouldn't be having a conversation about the other. And that's what I think. Legalize all or ban all. So I've always said this, right? What if we legalized, here's just one example. What if we legalized all drugs, right? And we legalized steroids. Then what if bad people, let's say a criminal gang, had all their guys on cocaine and steroids? They'd be like superhumans. They'd be unstoppable. The police wouldn't be able to take them down. You can't even shoot them. You put some of these people on these drugs, you can't even shoot them. So what are you going to do? Like, some drugs are, and then what are you going to have? Are you going to have good guys taking drugs to combat bad guys? Like, I think about all this stuff. Like, it could go, think about what the worst thing somebody could do with all legal drugs is, right? For one, you could probably just sell them on the street legally and get people hooked. Like, imagine how addictive is meth, right? You hear these horror stories. People try meth, and then you think that they're going to be able to responsibly do meth? There's no such thing. There's no world in which people responsibly do meth at scale. So, no, I don't think all drugs should be legal. But if you want to talk to me about not legalizing marijuana, talk to me about not legalizing tobacco and alcohol, right? So, my 2 cents on it. MC, what's up? Welcome to the chat. I was just going to say sugar. Some other countries are considering a sugar tax. Yeah, if we have, I'd probably support it, to be completely honest with you. if we have a tobacco tax, you know how much a pack of cigarettes costs in like New York State? Like $8 or something. We should have sugar too. Street sugar the same way. Here, I agree. I say go after all the uckers making them. Pardon my French. Oh, it's all good. What really gets me is how bottled water is more expensive than soda. Exactly. Why is salad more expensive than a cheeseburger? Why is bottled water more expensive than soda? PCP would be even more superhuman. Yeah, exactly. If you prepare all of your own food, you'll save lots of money. If you watch my dippy videos, it sure as hell won't make a chef, but it will give you some fundamentals. Until your heart explodes, yeah. Thanks, Jacob. I watch a lot of international news. I couldn't remember where I heard it. Some dude ate a family's face off while on drugs. No thanks, Wolfman operator. Yeah, drugs will make you do crazy stuff. Let's see. Nazi troops. World War II was sponsored by meth. World War II was completely sponsored by meth. So Hitler was on meth the whole time. I am a horror story. Rambo, I hear you. You can regulate them and the drug cartels out of business with the pharmaceutical companies. Authoritarian nonsense. Well, Regal, do you think that taxing cigarettes is authoritarian? Or where does it begin? Where does the authoritarianism begin? Right? We got to identify that. Like, where's the line drawn? Where does the line start? Is it making drugs illegal? Is that authoritarian? Because if we look at the cost, the economic cost of alcohol, sugar, and tobacco, right? It's got to be up there with the most crippling economic damaging thing that we have. Are those, because if you talk about the healthcare, healthcare is like the reason people need healthcare is because of what they eat and consume. It's the primary thing. Lack of exercise. Let's see. Only drug I need is burpees. Yes, that should be a t-shirt. Oh, yo, Max, I'm down 10 pounds to start football in 2 weeks. That's great. Great job. Meth was invented by Japanese. Yes. Yeah, but I heard a lot of our aviators are prescribed speed. And yeah, they used to be on those uppers, right? Pilots are on uppers. So, and that's the famous case of the Iraqi helo pilots who targeted the British or Canadian troops because they were on speed and they were found not guilty because of the speed. The war on drugs has cost hundreds of billions of dollars. You are free to consume those substances. Yes, right. But what I'm saying is there's also this argument coming from the other side that healthcare should be free, right? So what I'm saying is you can't give me the free healthcare argument if you're telling me that people are allowed to destroy themselves and then get free healthcare. It doesn't make any sense. Alcohol and opioids are bad. It comes down to personal choice. Professor Nutt of the UK has good stuff on harm of substances. Stuff fit on harm of substances, including, and I'm sure you will finish that comment in another comment. So if you legalize all substances, people are going to do all substances, and that's not going to be good. Okay, this is good. I'm glad I started this conversation because it's about to get way worse. Let's go over here. Religious Freedom Group wants Bible removed from prisoner of war missing action table at Navy base in Japan. This should be good. So, Religious Freedom Group, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, the MRF, wants the Bible removed from the prisoner of war missing in action table at Navy base Japan. If you don't know, for those who don't know, the prisoner of war, the Palmia table, is set at all dining facilities and events in the military as a reminder of those who were missing in action, prisoner of war, never returned home, who could be filling that seat. And we have to remember that that's an empty seat, save for them, right? It's a very powerful visual image, physical visual image of the prisoner of war missing in action. And there's guidance on how to set that table. Everything that you see here is per doctrine, right? So let's go. According to Navy Instruction 1710.7 Alpha for table settings for all service branches, the table must be round and include a white tablecloth, an empty chair, a black napkin, a single red rose, a yellow candle and ribbon, lemon slices, salt, and an overturned wine glass. The regulation says the display includes a Bible to represent faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country founded as one nation under God. So there is a doctrine. There is a book on how to set this thing, including the Bible. And the Military Religious Freedom Foundation sent a letter to Atsugi's commander, Captain John Montanet, after receiving 15 complaints about the table from personnel at the installation. Group founder Michael Weinstein told Stars and Stripes in a call on Monday. Weinstein, an Air Force veteran, said including the Bible violates the core values of the military and damages unity, morale, and diversity. This is not a move against Christianity, but one towards inclusivity. He said, not every sailor is a white, straight, Anglo-Saxon Christian male. Wow, this guy sounds like an idiot to me. What's his implication? That the only people who follow the Bible are white, straight Christian males? How stupid of a person is this Weinstein fellow? Like, and I don't even believe that he believes what he's saying. Here's the thing. I don't believe that he believes what he's saying. He's just trying to make a big stink because he's probably writing a book or something, or he gets money from his nonprofit. And what could make a bigger ruckus than this? Now, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the Bible. I don't follow those religious teachings, okay? I respect them. And I respect anybody's right to follow any religion that they want to. Live your life however you want. The Bible is on there because I'm pretty sure if you ask somebody who was a prisoner of war what got them through, I think a lot of them would probably say faith. I think you would see that. I think that would be pretty common, okay? So what are some of the arguments they say? First of all, this whole straight white Anglo-Saxon Christian male thing makes me sick to my stomach. And he has not received a response from NAF at Suigi as of Monday. This article is from Stars and Stripes. Base spokesman Sam Samuelson told Stars and Stripes via email Monday that he was not aware of the letter. This is where military leadership takes a stand and says, no, screw you. We're not doing that. The Palmia table here is a significant legacy display intended to memorialize and honor American POWs and MIAs among a varied military demographic, and is certainly greater than the sum of its parts. We can absolutely balance the larger meaning of the table with appropriate policies and the interests of our diverse base culture. Over the past 5 years, the MRF's religious freedom, petitions resulted in the removal of Bibles from Palmia tables at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, 4 Veterans Administration offices in Pennsylvania, Texas, and Ohio, and an allergy clinic at Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. In 2018, the MRFF filed an Inspector General complaint against the Navy over a Bible that was included in the Palmia table display at U.S. Naval Hospital, Okinawa. This is sick stuff. In May of 2019, the MRFF backed a federal lawsuit filed against the Manchester Veterans Administration Medical Center in New Hampshire for including the Bible on its Palmia table following complaints relayed through the foundation. The goal of the MRFF is not to eliminate Bibles, to promote religious diversity. It does not sound like it. The Palmia table is somber and emotional display, including a Bible alienates service members of other cultural religious groups and is wrong on every possible level. Including a Bible on the Palmia table is wrong on every possible level. No religious text, not just the Bible, has a place in that display. If the table included a Quran, Book of Mormon, or Satanist text, there would be blood in the streets, he says. So this person's obviously an idiot. For some reason, a lot of idiots now are getting a lot of stage time. His reasoning behind this makes no sense. I could hear an argument be made for including either no religious text or other religious texts, but the reasoning behind this argument is the stupidest I've ever heard in my entire life. And this person's really, really, really dumb. We've got problems. We've got a chaplain a few weeks ago says trans service members are mentally ill and don't belong in the military. There has to be a separation between the religious beliefs and public policies, right? There is, of course, right? There is. It's part of the idea of the United States to separate religion and government. But a lot of people govern based on their religious ideals. Sure. I mean, that's why we vote, is on those things. So I personally, when I hear people say, oh, we can't do that, it goes against God, I kind of turn off to that. It's not a good enough argument. It's not a very good argument. It goes against God, goes against the Bible. Not a good argument, in my opinion. But this is not a religious emblem. It's not a religious station. It is to commemorate prisoner of war missing in action and the idea of faith. And it is something that has been, I've never, ever heard, personally, anyone complain about this. It's a powerful image to remember the prisoner of war missing in action. And I don't think that this makes any sense to me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Does this make any sense to you? Let me see what you guys have already said. Why are we freaking out over a Bible? Free healthcare equals doctors with lower salaries, less motivated doctors, resulting in decrease in quality of healthcare. I'm more of a Muslim ever since I left Christianity. Actually, Corporal Matt, I disagree with you completely. I completely disagree with you. And we can talk about that maybe tomorrow. So black people don't read the Bible. Yeah, I guess black people don't read the Bible. Why are people whining over a Bible? How is it damaging morale? People are stereotyping Christians. What has the world come to? If you can't look at the prisoner of war missing in action table and without getting offended by it, you have to check your priorities. Former Christian, future Muslim. Marine Corps motto, always faithful. Rambo, were you Catholic? I'm Jewish, Max. You should believe there's a God, but you don't have to. If someone insists that you do, I feel like that is disrespectful. Why is he even doing this, bro? Let's see. Justin, I mean, replace it with our Constitution and have faith in that country and our citizenry. Yeah. Replace it with the Constitution. Or I could see a logical argument here, but they're not making a logical argument. Or something else to represent faith, like a broader, what they would say, inclusive representation of faith. But the Bible is not an offensive thing. I mean, really ever, unless people are using it to weaponize it. But just the existence of it is not insulting or hateful or discriminatory or anything. What they're saying, just the existence of it on the table is discriminatory, and they believe that they should sue and demand to be taken down. Friday should put a Quran on Torah, Saturday with the Bible on Sundays. I mean, replace it with our Constitution. Yes. So I could see a logical discussion about this, but that's not one. We need tolerance. Yes, the people who say we need tolerance tend to be the most intolerant. Isn't that right? I think if somebody came out there and say, hey, I serve, I'm Muslim. Can we put a Quran on there? And then if somebody said, no way, we're not doing that, then I'd be like, oh, well, why not? I mean, what's wrong with doing that? People have been serving who believe in all different spiritual, beliefs since the beginning of the military. I agree with what you're saying. OG, thanks for stopping in the chat. I appreciate it. So it's when you then fail to hear they won't stop until we all look and think the same. Yeah. It really seems true. If somebody came up and said, hey, I'd like to be included too, and then they were like, nah, screw you, then I'd be like, oh, hey, whoa. Why? What's the reason behind that? But this idea that just by itself, the Bible is this hurtful image that excludes people, that's not really true. It's not reality. So what we need, if people feel like just the existence of the Bible is hurting them, I'd be curious why. Like, what happened to you? Is that from personal experience, or do you just feel like you should say that? Are you defending somebody else who doesn't even exist? A cross, the Star of David, a crescent moon. What symbols am I missing? I don't know. I'm not the expert. The paradox of tolerance is that tolerance cannot have unlimited tolerance to continue to exist and must be intolerant to the tolerant. I'd have to sit with that one for a minute and think about that. The paradox of tolerance. Yes, the paradox of tolerance. It's true. It's true. Hindu symbols. Elephant Rider just subscribed. Elephant Rider just subscribed? You were in the chat yesterday. We need crossed lightsabers too for my Jedi faith. Yes, where does it end? Because then where do you stop? Like, do you get everybody's faith included? Like, what would be the thing, that finally answers the question? How do you include everybody? How do you include everybody? I think we got to look at intent. Intent is so important to consider, but that's just me. One more quick story, and then I'm going to change my clothes, and we are going to do the Battlefield 2042 reaction in character as the insane veteran. Hope you guys like that. So we've got one more story here. You guys can let me know about the Bible in the comments. I'm sure you will. I'm sure everyone will let me know about the Bible. I say it's really stupid. You can get a Jedi or Sith on your dog tags and it be your official religion. That's awesome. That'd be pretty fun to do. So, and when I say stupid, I mean the call that the Bible is like, its existence alone is offensive, and excluding people, I think that's stupid. That's my thoughts on it. Humble hero chosen to fly with the Thunderbirds through Hometown Hero program. So who is this? What's happening in Ocean City? On Friday, June 18th, this Friday, 10:30 a.m. from NASA's Wallops Flight Facility, Jonathan Bauer will get to experience the ride of his life in the backseat of an F-16 with Thunderbird number 8 Major Jason Markson, his pilot. So what did Jonathan Bauer do to earn such an honor? What did this hometown hero do? I love my hometown hero stories. We already talked about one car accident story. Let's talk about another. Let's see. Bauer, who was vice president of information systems for Atlantic General Hospital in Berlin, Maryland, made national news last month. I don't know. Did anybody hear about this? After he jumped 25 feet from the Route 90 bridge into Assawoman Bay to save an 18-month-old girl from drowning. She was thrown from a vehicle into the water after a crash. Bauer was referred to as the humble hero throughout the week after the incident, as he wished to remain anonymous until a press conference was held to reunite him, first responders, and other Good Samaritans who assisted in the rescue effort. Good for him. Jumped 25 feet into a river. That's pretty scary. That is pretty scary. Into a bay, I should say. That's pretty scary stuff. And who knows, it's probably really cold a month ago out there in Ocean City. So, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it was cold or not, but let's assume it was freezing cold water. 18-month-old baby who would have surely drowned without immediate help. Given his heroic efforts, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan presented the governor's citation to the Southwest Pennsylvania native. Additionally, his wife, Wendy, and daughter, Ava, were named honorary members of the Ocean City Fire Department. Oh, that's really sweet. Air Force's top two demonstration teams, the Thunderbirds and the F-22 Raptor demo team, will be featured performers when the 14th annual OC Air Show returns to Ocean City and Boardwalk June 19th and 20th. He's going to be going 7 Gs up there, pulling 7 Gs, twists, spins, and turns of the best roller coaster ride imaginable. 45-minute flight. We'll see if that's what he really wants afterwards. He's going to get off with barf all over his shirt and be like, it was awesome, man. Like this. That's what he's going to do. So I hope that he does have a good time up there. He earned it. Certainly, have you guys ever jumped off of anything high into water? Justin, feel free to answer that. I've jumped off several, rock formations into water. There was one in San Diego called the Devil's Punch Bowl. That was really fun. Jumped off of, I never did swim call in the Navy. Jumped off of high diving boards, things like that. Always very fun. Definitely love it. I would do it anytime presented the opportunity to do it safely. Sometimes it's just not worth the risk. People go out there and they get killed doing that stuff all the time. But bravo Zulu to Jonathan Bauer, who's going to be enjoying his F-16 ride in the Thunderbirds on Friday. And maybe we can grab some video of that after it happens and pull that up for you guys. See what we can do with that. It's pretty cool. Saved a little girl. I do wonder what it means by thrown into the river after a crash. Like, did she cause the crash? And her mom was like, you're annoying, throw you into the river. No, I'm just kidding. Probably. But if you get ejected from a vehicle, I'm just trying to think about this. Have I ever dived off an aircraft carrier for swim? No, I have not. I wish. We didn't do swim call on the aircraft carrier for some reason. The only people allowed to talk about the removal of a Bible on the Palmyra table is an actual POW, but that POW can't speak for the missing in action. That's how I feel about it. That's a great statement, Mudrock, actually. That's what I was saying, too. Why don't you ask the people who were prisoners of war how they feel about the Bible on the table? I wonder how many of them would say how hurt they are by it. Probably 0. There are plenty of prisoners of war who survived. Why don't you ask them? Who is that person to speak for the people that table is made for? It's totally sick. I wish I had dived off an aircraft carrier. That would have been awesome. When I was going through withdrawals, I needed the Bible. If you don't care for it, it won't make a difference to how much you help guys like myself. I was off the junk. Rambo, I'm glad that you're doing well. I'm glad that the Bible was there to help you. I think it absolutely is not a problem for me. I'll tell you that. So I do wonder, if you get ejected from a vehicle 25 feet into a bay, that sounds like a serious motor vehicle accident. Like, it takes power. That would take some power to have that happen to you. So I'm amazed that an 18-month-old survived that in the first place. Were they ejected in the car seat? I've got so many more questions about it, to be totally honest. Shout out to the local Tampa hero who died trying to save a man and his young son who also drowned. I read that. I read that story. Fair winds and following seas. Was that a veteran? Was the guy who jumped in the military or anything? Because I saw that story on Yahoo this morning. That's horrible, Larry. Thanks for sharing that. That is a super sad story. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I'm going to take a short break, you guys. I'm going to go into the waiting room, which is what you guys will see. Give me a couple minutes to change the setting in the room. And when I get back here in a minute or two, we're going to do the reaction for Battlefield 2042. So don't go anywhere. Use this time to check out the links in the description for all the ways to support the channel. Get yourself a water bottle from Amazon. Become a member of the channel. Check out Patreon. Get that free t-shirt on your second month of being an elite patron. donate, whatever you want to do. Share the videos. Take a minute right now and invite your friends to come watch this next part of the video. Whatever it is, any way you choose to support the channel, I do appreciate you guys, and I will be right back. What's up, guys? Max here, and this is the new segment that we're doing where I am an insane veteran and I'm going to be reacting to things. Let me try to troubleshoot the green screen here, if you guys don't mind. We got a new setup, so we got to make it look as good as possible. Bear with me. Pretty good. Pretty good. We got, let's see, 2 swim calls in the med. I jumped off the O4 level and just got a saltwater enema. What is that? What is that? All right. So that's pretty good. Green screen's pretty good. Working pretty good. Let's see. Let me... That's working. Nice. Okay. So any of you guys actually play Battlefield? I play Battlefield sometimes. You looked really pissed on the last one. Bravo, you sold it. Well, I'm really pissed on this one too, because they finally released the gameplay for Battlefield 2042, and it looks as unrealistic as I had imagined it would, based on my experience where I was in the military for almost 2 years until I got kicked out for an inappropriate relationship with my commanding officer's wife. And he was jealous, so he booted me without any more explanation. That's what happened. I was in a unit that was too secret to even disclose to you guys, so don't even try to ask, and don't try to find my record. You won't. It's been buried. Because the operations I was on was too classified. You talking about space? I've been to space. Underwater space? Been to underwater space too. So I don't want to hear anything about I wasn't really in the military or I'm lying about my service. You can't check it. Just take my word for it. It's all real. And this is the gameplay trailer for Battlefield 2042. Let's see. The plate carrier stays on during the deed. Suited up like a pit crew of green screen set. Let's see, you looked really pissed in the last one. LOL. We gotta get into character for this one. It's funny, some people actually thought I might have been trying to be serious in the last one. And then some people said I wasn't even really in the military. So I'm gonna ride that wave. The record was literally buried. He's not joking. In the dirt. Yes. 1,000 feet below the ground. So this is, let's do it. Let's do Battlefield 2042 gameplay trailer. Anima, you know, water pressure of the wazoo. Oh my goodness. Enema. No, Larry, no. I was with Max in Walrus Team 3. Yes, Walrus Team 3. All right, here we go. Let's do this reaction. Let's react. Let's make the reaction happen. This is reaction time. Get ready for the reaction. Dan Bilzerian impersonation. That's pretty funny. All right, here we go. This is it. We're doing it. Let's go. Oh, no, you guys should be seeing something by now. Why are you guys not seeing anything? There we go. Here we go. We'll start over. Starting over. He was in the Navy SEAL Rangers 75th. Yes. Pre-alpha gameplay. I knew it. The last one was a trailer to this trailer, which is the trailer for the actual alpha trailer. No shocker here. That's how they, you know, drag us along by the strings that they play our little puppets with. What am I saying? What am I even saying? I'm going to edit all that out. The puppet masters are leading us along, teasing us with trailers for trailers for trailers. I said in my last reaction, who is the enemy in this game? Global warming, and apparently I was 100% correct, because as it's been pointed out to me in the comments, the theory on this game is, since we've lost the ability to understand how the climate works, we're forecast the weather, because of global warming, war has broken out, and environmental events like twisters and blizzards and stuff are going to be one of the worst enemies in this game. So we will see how that plays out for the people in this trailer.
All squads, the Russian troops are falling back. Do whatever you can to secure the sector. We push them back, but not far enough. Do not let them regroup.
I am excited to fly around in different kind of aircraft. It would be cool to jump from a jet into a helicopter, into a tank, into a submarine, back into an aircraft, and then into a rocket ship. Yes, I will take that, please. And then when I'm done in the rocket ship, I'm going to wingsuit my way down to the ground. Typical, I learned that in my first 6 months in airborne school. Airborne school in the Space Force, the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Navy, and the Coast Guard, and the Homeland Security. You name it, I went to that school. Whenever I face sandstorms like that downrange, I would run right into them. You want to get into the heart of the sandstorm. It's good concealment. You can move around in it, and it's really, frankly, not that bad. You put on your eye pro, you put on a little T-shirt over your face, not breathing all that sand, you're fine. You're totally fine. It's actually kind of fun. Can we take one quick second here to talk about the optimism that this game has when it comes to technology only 20 years from now? Do you have any idea how long it takes military acquisitions to get anything done? We'll be lucky if we haven't regressed. Why are those tanks landing with rockets and parachutes? That's not going to be a thing in 20 years. Do they know what year it was when they made this game? No, that's not how any of this works. You know what's funny? I don't know what this is supposed to be, but you could basically do this right now in Las Vegas. You could go to Las Vegas, shoot any machine gun, rocket launcher, tank, helicopter that you want. The only thing that they haven't done yet is build a full-scale city for you to destroy. But something tells me after this game is out, they're going to do that. And you know who's going to be there? Me, to advise and tell them exactly how I would do it in my super elite unit that I was in if I had the unlimited budget that Las Vegas has. So, which floor are you guys going to? 18? Oh, no. Oops, I hit 19. I hit 19. I guess we're going there after this, huh? Anybody staying on until 19, huh? What does that thing say? Max distance 9.8 kilometers? What kind of transmitter is this? A 10-kilometer transmitter with a little wobbly ding-dong antenna like that? I do not think so. That thing's not even going to work. The RF propagates outward. The way it's going right now, he can only detonate something that's either at his feet or near his head. If he's trying to detonate that ATV that was just expertly driven off the side of this thing, because he obviously went to the same ATV school that I did, which was the super top secret ATV school, which was taught by all the best ATV riders in the world, who I can't name because it's too secret, then it's, what was I even saying? The detonator's not going to work. C4 times 2, max distance, 9.8 kilometers. I don't think so. I do not think so at all. So unrealistic. Hardcore parkour. And why is everyone, here's the worst part. This is 20 years in the future. This is supposed to be elite future combat. Why are they riding around in smart cars? Whose idea was it to give them a smart car? Don't do that. Smart cars are not the way. The little zip cars, the go cars that you can take around San Francisco if you want to. No, don't take those. Those are not going to hold up when you're fighting a twister and an army. Not a good deal. If the aircraft's getting pulled into the storm, the people are too. Hate to break it to you, you're not going to be doing super great. I'm pretty sure this person parachuting into the screen right now didn't check the weather because you only got a few knots of wind tolerance and you're not jumping. That's one of the main things that's going to prevent you from doing a jump mission is the wind. Not very tactical. Good luck with that. Let's see how it works out for this gentleman right here. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. Why is that ship in the middle of that city? I've got more questions than answers at the end of this trailer as well. How did that giant ship, that giant shipping ship, cargo ship, end up in the middle of that city? I'm dying to know. Yeah, there you go. Parachute into the rocket blast, the jet blast of that rocket ship. That's a great move. Wow, what a super soldier you are. Once you're in there, let me know how it feels. Let me know how that temperature's doing for you. So anyway, I already pre-ordered my copy. If you guys pre-ordered yours, I can't wait to play Battlefield 2042. It looks epic. Let me know in the comments down below how excited you guys are about this game. Until next time, I'm out for now. No, I'm not really out for now. It's just how the YouTube video is going to end, you guys. I'm obviously not out for now. We're just getting started. Nah, that is the end of the episode. We're going to sign out here in a minute. What's going on in the comments here? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Do you guys like that when I do a character? I have a good time with it. Let's see. Where did the... Damn, I missed a lot of comments up here. Trailer of a trailer disguised as another trailer. Yes. Hey, Chief, I'm a future Seaman Valdez. Hitting the water from 65 feet up, test your watertight integrity. It's going to be interesting playing in a virtual futuristic Doha. Is that Dubai? I don't know. That probably is Dubai. Song sounds badass like an eagle. I hate sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Yes, it's so annoying. POV, the 2020 starter pack. I'm sorry, not. This trailer gives me chills. You are in Las Vegas. Have you ever played the game? I have not played that game. Floor 12, please. No one let Max be in charge of the Hunger Games. It might be Dubai. Yes, let's get as close to a tornado as possible to the tornado. How did the ATV get to the roof? I think it said 9 meters. It was kilometers, though, for sure. Let me check. 9 kilometers. It was kilometers. This game looks really dumb. It does look a little over the top. The Air Force exists to fight tornadoes. Driving an armored Prius with a 50 cal and autopilot. Yep. Looks like an Elon Musk SpaceX forces are fighting Jeff Bezos Amazon forces. That should be a game. Pitch that game. That was hilarious. Beaufort, what's up? I got bored during the pandemic and played Battlefield 3 and 4 all the way through. Love the super secret dirt soldier character. Space Force, LOL. Okay, cool. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm probably going to do more of that stuff. Really pick a couple stories a week and do a insane veteran character. All right, guys. So with all that being said, that brings us to the end of the Army's birthday episode. Happy birthday to the Army. Congratulations on 246 years of service and all the great accomplishments and fighting for freedom out there. I do appreciate it very much. We all owe you a major debt of gratitude. So guys, thanks for watching this episode. Check out the links in the description and all that for all the ways to support the channel. I'll be back tomorrow with another brand new episode with a special guest. So don't miss it. Until then, I look forward to talking to all of you guys very soon. That's the Scuttlebutt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.